In the 2012 mixtape Rich Forever, Rick Ross and French Montana expound on what it takes to stay scheming within a system that so often seems to benefit only a select few. Unfortunately, too many New York City families can relate. Though the circumstances of their schemes may look different, they too must stay creative to afford childcare in our city. While there is pride in managing to make it all work, Rick Ross is clear that scheming takes a toll. Stress, exhaustion, hypervigilance, again, what working parent can't relate? Today, we are one step closer to doing away with New Yorkers' need to stay scheming, because today, we are incredibly proud to announce that we have filled our first seats for free 2K programs in our city. Next month, 2,000 of New York's cutest will begin learning, playing, and growing at 2K programs across 4 areas of our city, including right here in School District 10. We are lucky enough to have a participating family here today. Can we please give Sandra and Stella a round of applause as they take on this exciting new chapter? As we said about this work, we made a promise to take seriously the feedback we'd heard from parents for years about 3K and about pre-K. For universal childcare to work, it needs to meet parents where they are. Not a borough away, not 3 train transfers away, but in a way that works for working parents' lives. Today, I'm proud to say we have delivered that. Among the families we have been able to place, more than 80% received an offer to one of their top 3 choices, with close to 60% receiving their first choice. 99% received offers to a program they expressed preference for. And a full 100% of these families will save more than $20,000 per child per year on childcare beginning this fall. At the same time, we know that demand for universal free 2K is high. We received more than 5,700 applications for 2,000 seats. That's about 3 applicants for every available seat. In the coming days and weeks, we will be reaching out to families on our wait lists to walk them through their options. Availability historically opens up before the first day of school, and these families will be the first to know. While there is still much to be done, today represents a monumental step on the path to universal childcare here in New York City, a step that brings us closer to the moment where that process and that promise becomes a reality. In just a few weeks, 2,000 2-year-olds will put on their googly-eyed Crocs and strap on their tiny backpacks and head to their first day of 2K. Next year, that number will jump from 2,000 to 12,000. But this journey did not begin 7 months ago when I took office, or nearly 2 years ago when we made free universal childcare a central tenet of the campaign for mayor. This journey began many years ago with organizers, advocates, and working parents across the 5 boroughs sounding the alarm about the crushing cost of childcare. It began with New Yorkers who spoke of loving their neighborhoods, loving their careers, loving their families, but who were forced to move, forced to drop out of the workforce, or forego another child because of the unaffordability of childcare. I want to thank each and every one of those New Yorkers who spent time they didn't have knocking on doors, talking to their neighbors, gathering signatures for petitions with a newborn strapped to their chest. We stand on the precipice of a truly transformative moment for our city because of you. Together, we are writing a better chapter for all those who come next, for the generations of New Yorkers many years from now who will start families here in our city and who will not need to worry about leaving their job or moving out of the neighborhood they love to make it all work. Surely, Rick Ross would agree there is more than one way to be rich forever, and that this future we are building is one of them. On behalf of all those New Yorkers who come next, thank you for everything you have already done and for everything that we will do together. Thank you so much. I will now pass it over to not only the governor of our state, but a partner in this work and someone without whom today would not have been possible. Please join me in welcoming Governor Hochul.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank you for executing on a vision with such speed, and to your entire team who made this happen, taking it from a dream to reality in such record speed. I mean, this is what government is all about. It's supposed to work for the people, but not years from now, but now when the need is so incredibly great. So you've been a great partner, and I'm really proud to stand with you here today, as well as all the elected officials that have been acknowledged, and our Chancellor as well. You know, today, 2,000 families are going to click on their inbox, and their lives will change forever. Imagine getting an offer that your child will now be eligible for free child care. The excitement you must feel. All of a sudden, the burden lifted off your chest. And you look at that pile of bills and say, maybe I actually can make these payments this month. And all of a sudden, life feels good. Life feels manageable. All kinds of possibilities have opened up for you and your family, whether it's you can now stay in the neighborhood you wanted to, raise your family right here in New York, or if you're thinking about it, even expand your family now, because you know it won't be that crushing burden that you had been living under before. You know what it means to your family, and you'll have a chance to really get ahead for the first time. This is what today means. This is the significance of this moment. An enormous weight, as I said, has been lifted, and families all across New York will receive that sense of relief, starting in 19 communities across New York City. And when I talk about this, it's in the backdrop of what's happening in Washington. While here in New York, we're prioritizing our youngest, giving them a head start and a better life. We literally have the Trump administration talking about eviscerating the long-standing, wildly successful, nonpartisan Head Start program. So I'm proud of what we're doing here in New York, but always conscious there's other states that don't have the same leadership, that are not prioritizing families the way we here in New York. So let us be a model to others. Let them know that in our hearts, we know who we're putting first, and that is New York's families and New York's children. So here we are, talking about the high cost of child care, what it does to families. You talk about, Mayor, the families that may not have to contemplate leaving their jobs. I was the person who left my job. You've heard me tell this story. I loved my job. It's something I dreamed about for a long time, but I also dreamed about starting a family with my new husband. And those two desires collided when I could not find child care that we could afford. So I had to walk away from my job. My future was uncertain. The income in our family plummeted. And all of a sudden, I'm there clutching coupons, trying to get the biggest box of diapers I could find at the big box store. I was there, and that is why, as governor, this is so deeply personal to me, to know that families, because of our partnership and our willingness to put money, not just words, but money behind real programs, they will not have to endure the same stress that my young family had to deal with. Now those little kids are having their own families. That's why I'm so good with your little daughter. I play with children as often as I can, because there's some part of me that feels so connected to little ones, their innocence, and their belief that there's adults who will take care of them. They don't have a worry in the world. That's what today's about. Not just taking that worry away from kids, but also from their parents. Their parents deserve to have a worry-free existence. And that's what's going to continue to make New York City, New York State so exceptional. When we prioritize our families, and people say, yes, it's expensive in New York, but you know what? When all of a sudden you don't have to cover $20,000, sometimes upwards of $40,000 for one child alone, that's life-changing. That is life-changing. And we're doing this all over New York. I made a commitment in our budget this past year, $4.5 billion for child care and pre-K across the state. There are places of New York we do not even have a 4-year-old program. I want to make sure we level the playing field so all children in the state of New York have the same opportunities. So we're investing 35,000 more seats for pre-K across the state, so every 4-year-old has access. We have pilot programs going on in Monroe, Dutchess, and Broome counties to start getting infants into programs. 1,000 infants will now have access to programs. So it starts with programs like these, and we're continuing to expand. If I add it all up, since I've been governor, first mom governor, $12 billion toward child care that had not been spent before. That's how we change people's lives. That's how we want them to look at New York State, New York City, through a different set of eyes. And to all the employers out there, this is for you as well. Because when you're trying to recruit people, the best talent from elsewhere, to get young people to stay here instead of going elsewhere, when you can say, come to New York, stay in New York, because now we're helping with the cost of child care, this is going to be a game changer that is going to position us for great leadership and excellence for decades to come. So again, Mayor, this is a great one to team up on. We do it not just for making sure that we support our families, but we're doing it for the future of all little children. So thank you very much for making this happen. Thank you.
And I want to appreciate the governor for her leadership, for her remarks, and I'd like to now also introduce our Chancellor, Kamar Samuels.
All right. Thank you so much. This is so exciting. I want to thank everyone for joining us as we celebrate 2K offers to families for the 2026 school year. Thank you so much, Mayor Mamdani, the first mom governor, Kathy Hochul, the Division of Early Childhood, the Mayor's Office of Child Care and Early Childhood Education, for their hard work and collaboration to make this possible. There are so many people who made today a great day because for the first time ever, we are extending more than 2,000 offers to families for 2K for the upcoming school year. Let that sink in for a moment. Over 2,000 families will have that notification on My Schools that their 2-year-old has a seat waiting for them in a free, high-quality early care education program. As Chancellor, I know what that means for our city. Our early childhood education isn't just a nice to have. It is one of the most powerful investments we can make in any child's life. We know that the earlier we begin nurturing young minds, the stronger the foundation we build for everything that follows. And I also know what it means as a parent doing the math on childcare costs and feeling uneasy, trying to make the best choice for your child's care and wanting to ensure support for the little ones you love most. That's why this isn't just about seats in a classroom. It's about giving families peace of mind, knowing your child is nurtured, safe, and cared for in a high-quality educational setting like this one. So parents can go to work or school or catch their breath for the first time in a while. And that's why it's going to be great that Fred, Sandra, and Stella get to walk 3 minutes to a program with their kid. Well, it might take 10 minutes if they let Stella walk because she likes the rocks. But this is what it looks like when a city invests in young residents and when we take our commitment to provide every child the best start in life very seriously. I can't wait to welcome all New York students next year to our 2K classrooms. I look forward to visiting a center in the fall. Let's get it started. Thank you so much.
Right now, the mayor and the governor will take some on-topic questions on childcare in today's announcement. Okay, we'll start with Heather from News 12.
Good morning. How are you all?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. So you
Good
said
to be here on the mainland, as Assemblymember Dinowitz always calls it.
I know, yeah. 2 days in the Bronx. I'm appreciative. So you said there's just over 5,700 people who applied for this program, but there's only 2,000 seats. Can you explain how you narrowed down which families would be selected for the program? Was it based on income, location? How did you decide who would be getting these first 2,000 seats?
Yes. So as we have always said, this first year would have 2,000 seats of free childcare for 2-year-olds, and thanks to the governor's commitment, we would be able to expand next year to 12,000 seats in total. And as you said, we received about 5,700 applications for these 2,000 or so seats, and that means about 3,700 are on wait lists, while we were able to grant admission to about 2,000 of those families. I'm going to pass it over to our Executive Director of the Office to Support Childcare, Emily Liss.
So among the applicants, in order to determine who received those placements, we go through a priority structure very similar to the way children are admitted to 3K, pre-K, kindergarten, and beyond. So the highest priority went to children who have siblings or are continuing students at programs, with families who live in the 2K districts being prioritized as well. Families, when they applied, were able to see what that priority structure would look like. So the majority of our applicants, our families receiving offers today, are children who live in the districts that were prioritized for the expansion of 2K, as well as the families who may have a sibling or are continuing at the program where they were admitted.
deadline that they have to accept the offer by to be, possibly a seat going to somebody on the wait list?
Families have to accept their offers by the end of August. We can get you the exact date.
Thanks, Heather. Okay, we'll go to other on-topic questions. We'll go to Morgan from Fox.
Hi, thank you guys.
Hey, Morgan.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. So there's a new study out that says that the child care program is going to be much more costly than initially suggested, that it could cost up to $9 billion. I'm just wondering what exactly is going to be the strategy to ramp this up and to keep costs down? And then for Governor Kathy Hochul, just wondering, will the state continue to fund this program? Is this just kickstarting, or will the state be expected to fully fund this program for the years to come, especially when it expands? Thanks.
So I'll just begin by saying that when I acknowledged earlier the partnership with Governor Hochul, it's a partnership that began at the very beginning of this administration. On day 8, we stood together in Brooklyn announcing that the state would be committing $1.2 billion. And that was funding that not only allowed us to offer these 2,000 seats this year, 12,000 seats next year, it also ensured that we had funding to fix the issues that parents had identified with 3K. Because we'd heard from many parents that as much as they had dreamed, like Sandra and Fred, of being able to walk 3 minutes or maybe 10 minutes if we look at the rocks to their school, that too many parents were being forced to go miles away from their home to find that childcare. And so that funding helped us also resolve those issues while also providing funding towards vouchers. And we've always said that the goal here is to make it affordable to raise a family, because the question is not about whether this will cost money, it's a question of who will pay that money. And what I mean by that is that today we have families across the city spending, as the governor said, between $20,000 to $40,000 a year to raise their child in the nation's most expensive city. And this is an initiative that we are working on, not just for the short term or the medium term, but the long term, to make it easier to raise that family here in New York City.
We plan to do an independent verification of the actual costs required, not just an outside study. That's how we operate. So I want to make sure that the media understands that. And in my budget this year, we've allocated $4.5 billion for child care. As the mayor outlined, substantial amounts of that come to the city, but also trying to expand to areas that have been underserved across the state of New York. I am committed through the program next year. I can't commit future budgets at this time, but I can tell you right now, I'm excited about the growth of this. This is just the very beginning. We know there's a lot more families to be served. We'll serve them in a way that we can afford, but I was proud to make the allocations we did within the confines of our existing budget this year and make commitments for next year as well.
Thank you, Governor. Other 2K questions. Marcia. I'm sorry, if you could just wait for the microphone, Marcia.
First of all, I'm wondering, because you had 5,700 people apply, what were the qualifications or what were the priorities that you gave in selecting the 2,000 people that actually made the cut? And what would you say to the parents who didn't make the cut about what they can look forward to in the future? And then I have if you could give us more details about the funding, where will you raise the money for next year's 12,000, and for the ongoing years, will you have to take it from other parts of the budget?
So I'll go across the two questions. The governor made a 2-year commitment in a funding stream of $1.2 billion. So that allowed us to start with a program that would offer 2,000 seats this year and fund us through the expansion of that to 12,000 seats next year. Now, you've heard Senator Liz Warren describe childcare as infrastructure, and I think it's an apt characterization, because in order to provide these kinds of seats, we also have to do the work of ramping up the infrastructure so that we have the capacity. So 2,000 seats this year, and then we're going to have seats in every single one of the 5 boroughs next year. And the reason we can do that is because of the incredible work at New York City Public Schools, as well as through our Office to Support Childcare over the course of that time period. Now, on your first question, as you heard from Emmy, and I think Emmy, it might be worth just going through once more, priority is given to families who are in district, who their child is already attending the school at a younger age. We also have a number of families who are applying who have siblings enrolled in that same school. This is always geared with the ease of parents' lives in mind. We don't want to have parents who have to drop off one child over here and then go to another neighborhood to drop them off over there. But I know that Emmy will add additional details.
When families applied to 2K, they had the opportunity to list up to 12 options on their application, very similar to the way our 3K and pre-K processes work. And then we, on the back end, work to match families to their highest ranked choice, pending availability. As the mayor reiterated, priority is given to families who live in the district, families who have a sibling at the program or who are continuing at the program. And then it's essentially a lottery among families who are in each of those priority groups. We know that there are so many families who want access to these seats, and we wanted, as the mayor said, to make the process as easy as possible. So all families had to do to apply was provide their child's birth date and their address, and then we worked to match families based on the priority structure, and then again, essentially a lottery where not all families could be matched. Families who applied to 2K and did not receive an offer will be automatically placed on the wait list for any program they ranked on their application. We will be reaching out to families in the coming days to support them through that process. And as we are able to make waitlist offers ahead of the first day of school, we will be in touch with families. We are also working to add some additional capacity to meet some of the need. But we know this is why we need to continue growing the program.
The 12,000 seats next year, will they be in every school district, or will they be limited to certain school districts?
We are going to expand across a number of school districts. They will be in every single borough. And as we know, Staten Island is a single school district. And we're going to be announcing that over the course of the next few months as to where that expansion will be. Because I think what is always in mind for us is we want to be able to deliver this to every single parent. And we've said that by the end of 4 years, that every single 2-year-old will have a seat.
Thank you, Marcia. Other 2K questions? Bobby from New York 1. Sorry, if you could just wait for the microphone. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, during the campaign and since then, you've talked about the need to raise taxes on the wealthy, on high earners, and on corporations, in large part to fund universal pre-K. Do you, universal 2K? Do you still see the need for that, or is it possible to fund 2K going forward without increasing taxes on the wealthy?
You know, I think the most important thing is that we fund programs like this. And what has truly been a incredible experience is having a partner at the state level in Governor Hochul who is committed to that outcome. It meant that we could allocate $1.2 billion with just over a week of being in office. And, you know, I think, you know, in a city, in a country, in a world, frankly, where it seems that prices are only ever going up, to finally being able to tell families that the price of this one thing that they cannot live without is going down is something that is really at the core of what government should be doing. And it's only possible with partnership, and I'm very thankful for the governor and as well as our leaders that we have here at the city and the state level for making that possible. Thank you, Bobby. Any other 2K questions? I think we have time for one more. Catherine, go ahead, and then we'll take off topic.
Katie Brenzel from Cranes. No, that's cool. Catherine's also my name. The governor mentioned an independent cost analysis. Is the city working with the state on that? Do you have timing for when that will come out? And do you have a sense if the $9 billion figure is more in the ballpark than the previously estimated $6 billion?
I think, as you heard from the governor, it's only right that we do an independent analysis and ensure that we have our full capacity being committed to having an assessment of what the cost is and what the scaling is. I will tell you that our focus right now at this time is actually on delivering this free childcare to families of 2-year-olds across our city. And we're excited that in just a little, you know, not too long from now, we're going to see families who can benefit from this. It's going to scale up to 12,000 seats, and we're going to continue to always do the work to ensure that that can expand out so that every family can have free childcare for 2-year-olds.
Is that analysis happening now? Or
that's something that the governor said that is a focus of coming forward.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you so much to the governor and to all of our speakers. And we'll take off topic for just the mayor in a minute. All right. We'll start with Melissa from NBC, and then we'll go to Hannah from the Post.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you. I know that you've said you wanted to take the mayor's fund in a different direction,
Yes.
involve more community organizers and labor union leaders, et cetera. I'm wondering, and move the entire for look of good citizens over
fund often what I will say is specifically as you focus for time. Our focus primarily is on safety, but it's a competition.
Go.
Hi, Mayor. Um,
The
The time.
the questions.
Council, motorized scooters, in a clinical. I talked with the council.
This permit here today where so many living in